Hey guys, it's Vignesh from Code Android. In this video, we'll see how to organize the code for MVVM pattern. This is the app we are going to do in this series. Once we open the app, we have a splash screen. After that, we are going to a search activity. Here, we can search for the city and the result for the cities are displayed in a recycler view. On click of the recycler view item, we'll be showing the current temperature of the city. To demonstrate this, I am creating a new project and naming the project as weather. This app is going to use the internet, so adding the internet permission on the Android manifest. For MVVM pattern, we use view model, so adding lifecycle dependency. Also, we'll be using recycler view and card view in this project, so I'm adding those dependency as well into our app level Gradle file. The initial page of our application is a splash screen, so I'm renaming main activity as splash activity and renaming the layout as activity splash. This is a simple activity which shows app icon for some time and goes to next activity. So I'm not going to create view model or repository for this activity. For keeping the files, I'm creating view model and repository as packages. Splash activity is a view, so I'm dragging the splash activity into view package. For searching city, I'm creating a new activity and naming the activity as search activity. I want the layout file for this activity, so I'm leaving this checkbox selected. Now we'll create the view model and repository. Right click on the view model, new, Kotlin file or class. Here I'm going to give the view model name as search activity view model. Because in some cases we might have same name for fragment and activity. For example, home activity and home fragment. In that case we need to create two view models. So to differentiate the view model, I'm using full name of the class before view model. The view model can extend either view model or Android view model. We get an application context as a parameter for Android view model, but we won't get a context for view model. In our case, we need a context to show toast inside our repository. So I'm using Android view model. For such activity, we need a repository. So right click on the repository package, new, Kotlin file or class. Here also I'm using the same naming convention, so I'm giving the file name as search activity repository. Repository is a simple class, so we don't need to extend any other class. But we need a context, so adding application context as a parameter. Now we have created the required files for search activity. Let's add some views so that we can see how to communicate between these components. To make the UI simple, I'm changing the root layout as relative layout, inside adding another relative layout. For this, I'm giving the width as match parent and height as wrap content. Also setting its background as color primary dark. Inside, adding an AppCompat edit text and setting its max line as 1 so that we can avoid typing multiple lines of text. Also setting the hint as location. I want the hint in transparent white, so setting text color hint as transparent white. Also I want to change the edit text line color, so setting background tint as white. Finally, setting the text color as white. For search icon, adding an AppCompat image view with width and height as 48 dp. Also setting the source as IC menu search. Let's align these views. I want the icon on the left side of the screen, so adding align parent end and align parent right as true. Also assigning ID for both views so that we can align the edit text to end before the image view. For the app compact edit text, adding 2 start of and 2 left of as IV underscore search. To display the city result, we need a recycler view. We want this recycler view below the relative layout, so adding an ID for this layout as toolbar layout. Adding a recycler view with width and height as match parent. Also setting layout manager as linear layout manager. And layout below as toolbar layout. Finally, adding a progress bar with width and height as 100 dp and setting center in parent as true. Just to show the communication between the components, I am going to toggle the visibility of the progress bar on click of the search icon. So, setting onClick listener for the image view. From here we need to call a function on viewModel. So, creating a global variable called viewModel, which is a type of search activity viewModel. Whenever configuration change happens, onCreate will get executed. In that case, we don't want to create the viewModel again and again. To avoid that, we will create the viewModel object using viewModel provider. ViewModel equals to viewModel provider. Inside we need to pass the context dot get. Inside we need to pass the class of the viewModel. In our case, search activity viewModel. Inside the viewModel, we need to have a live data. So I'm creating a value called showProgress, which is a type of Boolean live data. Now we need a way to change its value, but we can't change the live data directly. So creating a Boolean mutable live data in our repository. To set this mutable live data as a value for the live data, we need a repository object in our viewModel. So creating a repository object. Value repository equals to search activity repository. Inside we need to pass the application context. To link the variable, inside the init method, set the value of live data as mutable live data from the repository. Whenever the value of mutable live data changes, that will affect showProgress live data. Now we can observe the changes on showProgress in our activity. ViewModel.showProgress.observe. Inside we need to pass two parameters, lifecycle owner and the observer. Using this lifecycle owner, the viewModel knows the visibility of the activity or fragment. According to the visibility of the owner, it will trigger the observer. The observer is a callback method which will get triggered when the value changes. If the value of the variable it is true, then showing the progress bar. Otherwise hiding it. On click of the search icon, we need to change the value of the mutable live data from repository. So creating a function called changeState in our repository. If the value of the progress is not equals to null or true, then setting the value as false. Otherwise setting the value as true. Let's simplify the expression. Now we need a way to call this function from our viewModel. So creating a function on our viewModel, inside calling the changeState method of the repository. Finally calling this viewModel function from our activity. Let's run the application. Sorry, I forgot to start the search activity. Also we need to remove the toolbar using style. So opening styles.xml and changing the theme from dark action bar to no action bar. In splash activity, waiting for 2 seconds using an handler and launching the search activity. Let's run the application. You can see after 2 seconds, it's going to search activity. On click of the search icon, the visibility of the progress bar is interchanging. Like this, activity or fragment will communicate only with view model, and the view model will communicate with repository. Sometimes we might call the repository function using the view model from the view. We shouldn't allow this, so setting the visibility of the repository as private so that it won't allow us to access the repository object from our view. From search activity, we need to go to details page. So creating an activity called a details activity. For this activity, we need a view model and repository. So creating details activity view model which extends Android view model. Also creating detailed activity repository. Here also I am adding application context as a parameter. Finally, in detail activity view model, creating the repository object. In the next tutorial, we'll see how to use retrofit in this project so that we can do some network communication. That's all for this tutorial, guys. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. If you have any doubts, please put it in the comment section. I will try to answer it. Hope you like it. I will see you in my next video. Have a nice day.